Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Evelina Hernandez, aka CryptoQueenE, and today we're going to be doing a small overview about what is going on in the crypto and the global economy. So let's dish it out. Obviously, there's a lot of different things going on with the speculation of why Bitcoin has just risen, up till past 10K. It's still stabilizing. The sentiment is always on a global economy perspective, and you have to look at everything that happens in this world. We in the United States try to make a trade agreement with China, and they said yes after a long battle. Of course, they don't want to lose our business. Us basically are the biggest people who buy from China and the United States. And their GDP is huge. So their impact right now with this biological threat, well, let me back up. Okay, so then that happens. They said, of course, we're going to try and buy some more of your stuff. And they decide to digitize the yuan. So one of the biggest things is like they were talking about how China manipulates the yuan. They're like, no, we don't do that. No, not at all. So that's why they went and made an agreement, but then they went back and started digitizing their currency. I wonder why. So anyways, then this whole biological threat of the coronavirus, which, by the way, why would you call it the coronavirus when that is a strain of different pathogens that are together to include the cold, the flu, H1N1, and all this other stuff? Who comes up with this stuff? Name it something different so people won't go back and look at their Clorox and say, you were ready for this already, bro. What's going on? Is this a conspiracy? No, it is not a conspiracy, okay? It is not. It happens to be that when you don't have infectious disease prevention protocols and you let people just do nilly-willy whatever on the market, things are going to happen like that. They're going to get out of control. They are smuggling and doing different things in China on the black market. So one of the things was, I guess, this pangolin. They derive keratin from it. There's no real, nutritional value to it, but apparently somehow they believe that the bat, which carries tons of pathogens, actually got in contact with the pangolin, and it has been a transmitter to humans because they eat them, and they're sold on the black market for their, natural keratin, for the hair and for the nails, and it's like a beauty thing, but it's really not a nutritional value for the pangolin to be eaten, although obviously on the shell it must have the keratin because it makes, the shell stronger. Once it's transmitted to humans, it becomes more mutatable. So the fact is that it is the strongest strain that we have encountered. Apparently it lasts on the surface for about 9 days, and it is airborne. The things to look for are fever, shortness of breath, cough, pretty much like the flu, right? Honestly, I just tell people you just need to boost your immune system and have the preventive mechanisms, which is, hand sanitizer, wash your hands often, don't touch your face when you're touching other stuff, make sure you're clean underneath your nail bed. I recommend 30 to 40 seconds. The CDC says 20 seconds. I worked in a hospital, contracted a gastro pathogen, and they couldn't figure it out for months. So it's just what happens sometimes, when you work in different settings. And actually in Louisiana, there was a gastrovirus that was just detected that hit like 200 people in a casino. So infectious disease protocols, wash your hands, clean surfaces, and businesses make sure you have hand sanitizer out and ready. Also, N95, N99 masks for emergencies, and the non-latex neoprene gloves. A lot of different facilities like using black because it looks less scary than blue. Uh, just throwing it out there. But yeah, so this biological threat, right? And the fact is that it is not a conspiracy, not to my belief, anyways. It is human for people to be suspicious of Chinese or people who come from China right now. It's sad, but can you blame somebody if it's life or death? I don't think you can. But I do think that you need to be more aware, and that here in the United States, we have been able to safeguard. So, good job on the CDC that they actually reacted fast enough to be able to withhold a huge, massive, infection on this side of the world. And that is why we need borders, we need border control. And in the same effect, I think that, I'm happy that we were able to get the USMCA signed, because I think that there needs to be a lot more in the anatomy perspective for doctors and different, clinicians, healthcare providers, to be able to understand the endocannabinoid system and how it affects, your health, your immune system, your recovery, and your mood, your behavior. All of that stuff has to do with part of the endocannabinoid system. So, yeah, I think Canada has a good, decent amount of research, and obviously, in Las Vegas and Los Angeles, where I've been, they are doing an enormous amount of pathway, like, pioneering, and I am really excited for that. Apparently, Las Vegas has one of the biggest facilities of the cannabis industry, and you can walk in there, and I guess there's little fish pond, like a technical, mirage or whatever. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, and then I think we're gonna have to end up helping Mexico, which is why I got my Mexican citizenship too. In some ways, it's just better control, and we do need to finish that border. Unfortunately, sensitive subject because I am Mexican American, American first, Mexican second. And after this whole thing with Iran happened, and the second largest Iranian leader would have been murdered because he was trying to, attack us, or planning to. I think it's important for us to understand that, we are in the United States, which is a safe haven. And in order for us to be able to offer that safe haven, we need to continue and keeping it free and safe. And in that perspective, I mean keeping biological threats and also keeping any other threats out of the United States in that effect. And whatever we can do to be able to do that is what I am honestly just for. Yeah, the global economy is feeling the shift. The GDP for China is huge. We know that they're not going to be spending that much money, and that affects us. It affects our businesses. So yeah, we're going to have to, buckle down a little bit and try and do things savvier and safer. And the other thing too is just today there was 4 different people from China, hackers, who actually went into the Equifax and were trying to steal our technology. So it's big. It's a compliment, and it's also an irritation to the fact that obviously they want what we have here, and we've always been pretty dominant in technology, but we're kind of falling behind the plate right now, and we need to boost up really big. Bitcoin's trend is based on companies and banks. There's 40 banks that were just signed up so that they can be able to offer Bitcoin and Ethereum. And um, they're hedging their companies. They're hedging, the crony capitalism money, which is not bad, but you also have to remember to stay in the decentralized factor, unless you just want to make quick money, because conglomerate companies are always going to try and boost and jump and be ahead of everybody else. And it is what it is. Some people want to make money, some people want to make a difference. I just think that that is exactly why Bitcoin is shifting in this form. And then it's also exciting to hear that Ethereum is going to be hitting a 2.0. So that's probably going to have some waves as well. And obviously XRP has made a wave effect because of what's going on. And it's a median to where banking can jump in and say, hey, I need you to Western Union this. And that's all it is, really. A quicker way of doing it. And then you have other faster technologies that are coming in, like Litecoin, Bcash. I would just be more savvy about that BSV one, because obviously if this guy's trying to claim that he's Satoshi Nakamoto, which I highly doubt, okay, I wouldn't trust anything he does. So, my 2 cents. Tron is coming out with a decent amount of things. When they first came out, I was kind of like, what is going on with this company? They just copy and paste. But I guess, he learned a lot from talking to Buffett, and he was going to buy the eBay platform, but then backed out and said he's just going to work on his, project, which is Tron, which is respectable. Like when you concentrate on one thing, it means a lot. It means that you're going to put your all into it, which is, any relationship, right? That you would like to have. So, in the same form, I think there is some other people who are out there advocating for cryptocurrency now, like that guy, Yuan, I think. But I don't think he's going to be elected. I think it's good for him to do that, but in the same effect that there was other people who jumped on and tried to apply for the candidacy. They're now part of the cabinet of the House. And I think that's pretty similar to what's going to happen now. Those people who are, competing and trying to get, the public to hear them, they're going to be heard. But they're, like they mentioned before, they're all agreeing on the same things. So they're not distinctive in any way. And that hurts them a lot, So I really think that, it's just going to be another Trump 2020. And I just hope that, he sees the potential in cryptocurrency and how it's going to have to mesh with the social welfare. And I hope that people in the cryptocurrency community are going to see the same thing, that you can't just expect to live out of this libertarian, economy and expect to call 911 and then, you're calling servants, you're calling people who need to get paid too. So you're trying to tell me that you're going to go receive a service and not pay for it. That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I get, there's different things with taxes and stuff like that, but that's one of the biggest things, is the ability for us to be able to have that humanitarian aid right away. And that's why we're Americans, and that's why we live in this country, so that we can be able to afford being able to have health care and different things like that. And I think in that perspective, there's a lot of things that are changing, and they're good, as far as I can see. Not everything's perfect, but, you vote with your money, and you have to vote, So yeah, so I think... I also think that there's still other projects out there like Cardano, ADA, which I think the scientists are probably going to make a great effort. And honestly, I think I remember this one coin that was called Gridcoin or something like that. that had like scientists that were putting all the information into the network, which I think is really cool too. But then you're going to start falling down and down and down into different, ecosystems and stuff like that. And, you're going to have to pick who's actually governing these ecosystems. It's almost like we're living in a virtual economy. And who are these people going to be governed by? Because you can't just have so much chaos. And then in the same thing too, a lot of people connect cryptocurrency to illicit activities. And there's this one show that I just recommended to somebody to listen to. It's on the podcast for Apple. It's called Epicenter. And then it was with Yaya something. It said something about terrorists, back on January 25th, I want to say. But it was pretty good, and I was pretty happy with what he was saying. I'm pretty much in line with a lot of the stuff that he says, and to the fact that, like, it's actually cleaner to see. There is still some ways to have privacy with blockchain, but, with it is also like verification, I believe, because if you're going to be doing certain things that are illicit, they affect our world. Obviously, we wouldn't have been able to find that, this Iranian leader wanted to do harm to the United States. And I think that's good, Other than that, I think I've talked a lot. I just came back from Chicago. I'm getting old. But, yeah, I mean, I just, people wanted to hear what I say and what I know, and I wanted to give you guys a little bit back of me since I've been so secluded. I think there's a bright future in cryptocurrency. And I think that we just need to learn how to understand our bodies, listen to it, and protect ourselves from the different pollutants that are out there. And in that same effect, I made anti-pollutant elixir. I believe I tagged it on First Aid Health, hashtag Self-Aid Warriors. Just trying to help with what I know, it's all natural. Nothing that, would be medicinal unless you go back to the cannabinoids, because that part right there will probably end up being regulated sooner or later by medical logistics and such. I remember when I first started out, testing with that stuff, and, I was telling them there's certain things that you have to be able to look at, temperatures and such, and I think I helped in my own way, and I'm happy that I was able to do that because they helped me also experiment and try with different clients, different stuff, and different things that would help them out and such. And I've been very successful with that, and I'm grateful that they even gave me an opportunity to do that. And they trust me so much to be able to do such things, as to help them with their health and help them with their life, I'm very proud to have been able to be part of your life, to whoever has let me be part of your life. That's it. That's all I got for tonight. And have a good night. Stay safe and stay fit. CryptoQueenE out.